Tiger Woods is back, and despite him having multiple surgeries, he still swings the club absolutely unbelievably well. So let's have a look at his swing, what he does well, and how he's potentially changed that swing to accommodate his latest surgery. So if we look at setup, he's just got your traditional sort of archetype for a great setup. So if we look down the line, got a nice neutral spine, arms hang below the shoulder blade, nice neutral knee posture. From face on, he's got that neutral grip, love that. His stance is a little bit narrower than we've seen in the past. Tiger, maybe in 2000 or even 2005, would have a lot wider stance where that right foot would be there. I think he has done that just to accommodate, one, the spine fusion in the lumbar region, and two, that limited mobility in that trail ankle. Those two things are going to make it very difficult to Tiger to actually rotate in the backswing. So by narrowing his base of support, it's just going to make it a little bit easier to rotate in backswing and in downswing. So that's the setup done. Let's have a look at his takeaway. So Tiger's going to take the club back. We'll actually put a little line on his bum because he likes to work on that, and a little line through his hands, which will become more apparent in a minute. So takeaway, lovely bit of rotation. His hands move inside that red line and the club head stays out. It's more reminiscent of his 2000 takeaway rather than sort of the Haney or the Foley years. That butt of the club is pointing to this belly button, which is a great sort of way to look at your swing. It's a great easy way of perfecting that takeaway, of getting that butt end of the club pointing at your belly button when that club shaft is almost parallel to the ground. So if we look from face on, you'll see he starts with a little bump to the right, loading into that right side, and we get loads of width here. Sorry, the camera's a little bit blurry, but you can see lots of width, not a huge amount of wrist set that we might see in some players, but Tiger's never really had that in 2000. You didn't see a great cocking of the wrist, you saw just a really wide swing. So great takeaway, club head outside the hands, no rolling of the wrist really. And then let's take it up to the top. I'll keep that line on his butt. So you'll see a really nice and wide, that halfway back position where his lead arm is parallel to the ground. Let's bring it back. Again, like we said before, Tiger doesn't have a huge amount of wrist set. Some players like Adam Scott or Rory would see the wrist and the club setting more up here. You'll see Tiger has got that club a little less with those wrists. Just that's going to help him a little bit on the downswing, which we'll explain, where he really loads those wrists. So it's not imperative to really set those wrists. Tiger doesn't do it. Scotty Scheffler's similar. Love that position. You'll see he's loading into that right glute, something he really works on. He's got a little bit more rotation through the hips than he would have, say, in 2000, where he's just got less mobility because of the ankle fusion and the back fusion. And then let's bring him up to the top of the swing here. So you'll see still loads of rotation through that thorax, through those shoulders, but we will see a little bit of a shorter swing than we've seen in the past. When that ankle is fused, we limit the dorsiflexion, so its ability to move the toe closer to the shin. So what we'll see is it'll be a real struggle to get a full swing out of Tiger. So you'll see this from down the line. What he'll do is, just to get that fuller swing, is if we get to about here, because that ankle's now fused, think John Ram actually, because John Ram's got that, he's had a club foot as a kid, he's not got that dorsiflexion in the ankle, so he's a very short swing. Now Tiger's obviously more used to having a longer swing, so he's not going to swing it like John Ram, but what you'll start to see is that right elbow will start to flare out a little bit at the top, just to get his shaft to closer to parallel. Just watch subtly, watch how that, can you see subtly that elbow just flares out a touch. That'll just allow him just to move that club a little bit further. It's something that I've noticed in his recent comeback swings. Look, just see, just there, just flares that elbow out a little bit. that's a subtle difference that'll just allow him to swing a little bit further. You can see he's not as flexible as he was in 2000, but he's nearly 50. He's not 24 anymore. So let me just get rid of these lines off here. Now, what I want to note about Tiger is it's something that he really works on, loading those glutes. You probably heard it before, but what you'll see from Tiger now, he'll really squat down. He started his downswing already. You see that movement as he's moving back in the backswing, he starts that downswing. Look at that belt buckle, how it starts to drive down and to the left. If we look on face on, it'll start to drive down and to the left. Great power move. Look, down and to the left. He creates that separation between his legs, really loading the club, loading the angle. And if we look from face on, he'll maintain his posture, and that pelvis starts to move back. You see in relation to that red line, it starts to move back. The knee flex increases as he's really loading all those tissues into the ground, which is going to force him back up and create a lot of power. I'll just get rid of these lines because it's getting a little bit messy on screen. I'll put that line on the back line just to show you that this Tiger never really early extends in his swing. So loads of pressure down, starts to see the club rotating. We'll see at this position, I love when that shoulder and elbow halfway down are in line. It's just a great way of protecting that shoulder in terms of the forces applying into the club head. We'll start to see now, look, he's still low. He just does a great job. He's holding that lag, that right arm, lots of nice flex in there that's just going to help again load that lag. He has to use lag because he's not got that speed in the lower body now because of that ankle and because of that back fusion. So using the angle in the club is a great way of generating speed. And as we talked about in the backswing, because he doesn't get a lot of wrist set, he can load those tissues a little bit more in the backswing and downswing and create that stretch in the downswing, which is enable him to still generate a hell of a lot of speed for somebody who's had a lot of surgeries. And the guy's, he's nearly 50, really incredible. And you'll see, keeps loading, and then can't quite see the club head on that frame, but it's in a beautiful delivery position. Starts to use the ground to jump up. Look how that pelvis is now from here. Get rid of these lines. We'll see this pelvis starts to elevate. You'll see it more from face on. There you go. That's just pushing into the ground, loading all those tissues. That creates a lot of power. You'll see that leg snap back. It's almost a little bit, if we look at that leg action, actually, I've done a swing analysis of Scotty Scheffler. It's very similar. That right foot starts to slide back, and that left foot, you'll see, moves up onto the heel as he's putting the pressure into the lead heel. We'll look from face on, see if he still does it in this swing. Watch how he drags. Doesn't quite do it on this one, but he does on the left screen, how he drags that ankle towards the left ankle. Just look at that. It's very a la Scotty Scheffler, which is kind of ironic to say Scotty won this event. So you'll see that. That's just because he's just got limited mobility. So that ankle is just completely fused. So you're not going to see as much roll through this trail ankle. Let me just pull it back. You'll not see as much roll. It'll just be more of a one solid movement. Imagine that you've got your trail ankle in a cast. That's effectively how Tiger's going to move around that trail ankle, but extends beautifully up through the ball. Let's get rid of those lines. Loads of width there. I mean, the guy, considering, I mean, what's he had, 20 maybe surgeries? Like, it's an incredible motion. You'll see there, he's not quite up onto, like, you'd see a lot of guys where they'll be vertical with that trail foot. You'll see Tiger's got a little bit of angle there. He just can't move it as well. But I mean, considering how much surgery he's had with the back and the ankle and the lead knee, it's incredible motion. You'll just see there, you can see how most guys now, you'd see a lot of that trail foot the spikes on the shoes. He just can't do that because he can't roll onto that trail ankle, roll through the metatarsal to create that full finish. But I mean, it's an incredible swing. I mean, if any guys on tour came out with that motion, you'd be like, what a lovely looking swing. This guy's had, like I say, 20, 30 surgeries and he swings like that. If he can walk around the golf course and gets his short game in action, I wouldn't be surprised Tiger popping off a major,